In the mountains of Oregon, there's a radio tower that no one dares to visit. Locals say it sends out a signal you can't hear, but you can feel deep inside your bones. Those who get too close don't just hear the sound. They see something waiting in the static, and once it calls your name, you never escape. Ethan Miller had always been curious about these stories. Silver Ridge was supposed to be just another quiet mountain town, but the abandoned radio tower had become its darkest legend. For decades, hikers had vanished near it, and locals spoke of chest pains and strange dreams whenever they went too close. The sheriff had sealed the road years ago, warning everyone to stay away. But Ethan was a journalism student, and curiosity was his nature. He wanted the truth. His best friend Sarah told him to leave it alone, to forget the tower and the signal. Yet one cloudy evening, Ethan drove up the mountain road with Sarah beside him, determined to prove that the silent frequency was nothing more than a myth. The forest grew thicker as they drove higher. Fog rolled across the road, and the trees leaned in as though hiding a secret. When they reached the broken gate around the tower, Ethan parked the car. The chain-link fence was rusted and bent, as if something had forced its way out long ago. As soon as they stepped out, Sarah froze. "Do you hear that?" she whispered. Ethan shook his head at first. Then he felt it. A strange vibration in his chest, low and steady, like a second heartbeat. It wasn't loud, but it pressed against him in a way that made his stomach twist. The tower loomed ahead, tall and black against the gray sky. Its lights had been dead for decades, yet the wires overhead buzzed faintly. Ethan pulled out his recorder, determined to capture the sound. Sarah clutched his arm. "This is wrong. We shouldn't be here." "Just a few minutes," Ethan whispered back. "I need proof." They pushed through the grass and climbed the steps leading to the small control room at the base of the tower. The door creaked open. Inside was a room filled with dust, broken glass, and shattered equipment. But in the corner, one machine still glowed faintly. A single red light blinked on and off, steady as a heartbeat. Sarah stepped back. "How is that even possible?" "There's no power here." Before Ethan could answer, a distorted voice hissed through the static. Low and broken, it seemed to crawl through the air. "Ethan!" The recorder slipped in his hand. His blood ran cold. "Did you hear that?" Sarah's eyes widened with terror. "It said your name." The voice came again, louder. "Come closer." The air grew ice cold. Their breaths showed in white clouds. Ethan's instincts screamed at him to run, but something in the voice pulled him toward the glowing machine. Then the floor shuddered. The tower groaned, and the hum rose into a deafening vibration that rattled their bones. Sarah grabbed Ethan's arm, dragging him back. "We need to go," she shouted. They spun toward the door, but it slammed shut with a force that shook the room. Dust rained down from the ceiling. Shadows began to seep from the corners. At first they looked like smoke, but slowly they stretched into tall, twisted figures. Their faces were hollow, their mouths open in silent screams. They moved closer, each step sending shockwaves through Ethan's chest. Sarah dropped to her knees, clutching her head. "It hurts. Ethan, make it stop." Desperate, Ethan raised his recorder and smashed it against the glowing machine. Sparks burst into the air. The red light flickered, then went dark. For one long moment, silence fell. The shadows froze in place. Then the hum returned, louder than ever. The tower itself seemed to scream. The figures lunged forward, their forms flickering like broken images. Ethan yanked Sarah to her feet, dragging her toward the window. With a hard kick, he shattered the glass, and they both leapt out. They hit the ground and ran, stumbling across the dirt. Behind them, the tower groaned, shaking violently. Metal shrieked as if it were alive. The hum grew unbearable. A wave of force surged out from the tower, throwing them to the ground. When Ethan looked back, his breath caught. The dead top light of the tower blazed bright red, shining like an angry eye. Shadows coiled around it, spiraling upward into the clouds. Ethan pulled Sarah to her feet and sprinted toward the car. They jumped inside, and he slammed the gas pedal. The tires spun in the dirt before catching, and the car shot down the winding road. In the rearview mirror, the red light burned through the fog, following them like a curse. For miles, they didn't speak. Sarah trembled in her seat, her face pale. Ethan's hands shook on the wheel. The vibration still echoed in his chest, long after they had escaped the mountain. Finally, Sarah whispered, "That wasn't a signal. It was alive." Ethan didn't answer. He already knew. He reached into his pocket and felt the recorder. His stomach dropped. He had smashed it against the machine, yet it was whole. Worse, it was still running. The tape hissed, then the broken voice spoke again. "Ethan, you can't run." With a cry of panic, he hurled it out the window. The recorder vanished into the night, but even then, the hum seemed to follow them. Back in Silver Ridge, locals looked up at the mountain and saw something strange. After decades of silence, the tower's red light now glowed in the dark. Some said it was just old equipment sparking back to life. But Ethan and Sarah knew the truth. The silent frequency had woken up, and it was only the beginning.